wheel, that person is determined by how little they contribute to the conversation or how little the rest of us care to hear what they said. And I'm joined by 3 different people today. We got Brandon and Grace here. Can you guys say hello?
Yo.
Okay, I know it makes sense for what's going on in this episode, but at the same time, I guess I wasn't expecting the
I
fourth.
feel like you struggling to contain your laughter is really, really sad. And you know what, on your sense of humor.
You know what? I've evolved to dad jokes and stuff like that, like laughing at those. So
Our jokes are just laughing at you.
It's
Okay.
true. Anyways, our fourth wheel today, joining us is.
It hasn't been decided yet, so.
There's.
I'm today's temporary fourth wheel. You're no longer a tricycle. This is a four-wheel vehicle.
We are a car.
Which is funny because Steven has previously mentioned accidents that have happened on an ATV.
Don't worry about it. That had 3 wheels, by the way. Actually, no, it didn't. Never mind.
No,
Good point.
Yeah, the one.
it's like a trike, wasn't it?
No, yeah, I have I don't think I told my accident on a trek story, but you know what? That's for a
Whatever.
different day.
Different topic when we have a fourth host that brought it up.
Hey, Andreas, can you sail up?
Hello, my name is Andres, long-time caller, first-time listener.
Wait.
What?
Wait a minute. My brain did not understand that real quick. That took a little bit for me to understand.
Me too.
Anyways, so yeah, we have our first guest on the show today. And Andres, I don't know if you know this, but Brandon was the third wheel of last week's episode, but he was also the third wheel of the episode beforehand. So there's a chance that we can get him three in a row today.
Okay.
If
Fun
he gets
fact for
3 in
ya.
a row, what happens to him?
He's just bad.
shamed.
You guys gotta have some kind of impractical jokers like punishment for him.
I don't know, man. We just
You
never
know what?
thought that it would happen.
We do this thing.
Wait,
that-
if
Shut up. Let me talk. For our YouTube listeners, we like to do this special thing where we make terrible edits of Brandon and put the picture at the end,
oh no.
so we can
Every
always do
time
that
you're
again.
Every time you're like a third wheel, Brandon, there's just gonna be a more cursed image of you at the end of every YouTube video.
Oh god.
That's good.
Just base boost it.
There's just a time where Brandon's been like the third wheel like 5 times in a row to the point where I don't even care to put it at the end of the video. It's just the background image throughout the entire episode of the podcast. Just an hour straight of a really cursed image of Brandon, or even a slideshow of cursed images. Oh my god. Alright, well, what's the
Anyway.
topic for the day? What's the topic for the day? A crew?
Didn't Brandon get to pick because he's the third wheel last time?
Well, you're the guest, and traditionally guest gets to pick.
No.
You could talk about whatever, stories bring up. We'll talk about stuff relating to that.
Yes,
That's true.
although we typically do stories, we're also mixing it up. Like last time, Brandon made us all take a quiz to see what % duck we all were.
And he lost.
Yeah, he lost.
Well,
He was
I
not
was
enough duck.
75% duck.
I just am a duck. It's fine.
what percentage are you, Brandon?
Half duck apparently.
He was
Yeah,
half
he's
duck,
50%.
and we were more duck than him. And he was like, "Hey, if whoever's the least amount duck is the third wheel," and it was him. So he kind of did himself over. But
Yeah.
yeah, but you mentioned something about a concert in middle school, and it was Brandon's first concert, and I was kind of intrigued to hear about
As
that.
context for this, Andreas and Brandon have been friends since elementary school.
Nope,
They
this
have
is their
his-
first time
I'd say
meeting
kindergarten.
today.
Yeah,
They've never met before.
kindergarten.
Yeah,
Nope, you've never met
so
before.
we're gonna get all the tea today.
Fantastic.
Yo,
Expose
in
him.
kindergarten, me and Brandon used to role play Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I do remember that.
The
yeah.
movie starring Brendan Fraser.
I do
We stopped
remember that.
arguments over who got to play as Brendan Fraser.
I think you guys peaked right there.
It's all downhill from there.
imagine peeking
Oh.
into kindergarten. That sucks.
That
There was like 4 of us trying to reenact that too, and then weren't there only like 3 characters in that whole movie? Like,
There's
Yeah,
four.
it's-
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
3 main characters, and the 4th one kind of just gets vetoed like right
I've
away.
Yeah.
seen that movie so many times and I don't even remember what the plot is.
yeah,
They
it
go to
was
the
me-
center of the earth.
It was me and Andreas plus 2 other people trying to reenact scenes from. I can't remember what the 4th one just did.
He was the environment, the ever-changing environment for your guys' scene.
We tried to do like a run through of the entire movie in like whatever 10-minute recess.
Yeah.
I think it worked for the most part.
for the most part.
But that's the thing. It wasn't like a one-day thing. It was like every fucking day we would go and reenact Journey to the Center of the Earth starring Brendan Fraser. Like
What
it was
happened
our
when you
job.
finished the movie? Did you guys just start the movie over again?
Oh.
No one
Yeah.
has an answer.
Mhm.
Okay.
I just vividly remember reenacting like that one scene where Sean was just sad boy, like
Sad boy hours.
Well, it's sad
All I
boy
remember
hours.
is the one scene where they like shoot out of a volcano and like sled down a big hill.
How would you reenact that?
I don't
know,
we
man.
had- we
Your
had the-
imagination.
yeah, we had the playground. We could, I don't know, we did.
They
Used
climbed
other
up
children
the
to be
slide
the
instead of going
I'm
down.
certain they thought we were losers.
I don't know if you really become a loser in kindergarten. I don't know.
Nah.
I don't know, man.
Kids have made up their mind in preschool.
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
that's fair. The cliques form, but I don't think it's the making fun of other cliques thing happen
It
later.
depends on how fast you run, what you're playing, and what color your shoes are.
That's
Boom.
true. The color of your
Determines-
shoes determines
determines
your
that your
popularity.
social standing for the rest of your life.
Bro, if you're rocking those glow-in-the-dark Skechers, man, that's where it's really at.
Dude, kids don't wear those anymore.
I know. My dad does, though.
I remember, I thought I was like the hottest shit around because I had fucking twinkle toes.
Today's children are too fashionable.
Yeah.
Today's children,
Tragic.
that's where I'm gonna stop. Anyways.
The thing about our school though is it went from like kindergarten to 8th grade, so whatever reputation we made for ourselves in the earlier age, it stuck with the whole class till.
Yeah, no, I felt that. I was in a similar
hunged
situation.
for a while.
Yeah.
Were you guys just referred to as the cast from Journey to the Center of the Earth throughout all of your years in middle school? or-
Well, one of the people that we hung out with ended up moving out like 4th grade, and like, yeah, we just kind of, it was pretty much just me and Andreas after that. The third person kind of fell out afterwards, but
My
You got-
reputation was just that really angry chick that hated everybody, and you know what? That was fair, and I stick by that. I still feel that in my soul.
I was the new kid to a school after just kind of a meltdown at my old school.
Ooh, I want to hear about the meltdown.
Oh, it was my mother. It wasn't me. So
Oh.
essentially, like my oldest brother was in 8th grade when I was in like 1st grade, and we were at this really shitty school. And
Did she hit a child at your school?
no, but she was gonna kill the front desk lady.
I
love that. So like this one kid was bullying my oldest brother, and again they're in like 8th grade. And at one point in time, this bully like literally could have like blinded my oldest brother. He said that because I'm not old enough to remember this, but he said that there was like those like scented things in the classroom, right? Where you have like those wax candle melter things that just
Yeah.
kind of like heat up the room and that provide light and provide scent to the room. Apparently this kid just like shoved his hand in there, grabbed all of the wax, and just like forcefully slapped my brother across the face, but like directly in one of his eyes. So like went up behind him and kind of like cupped it in his eye one of the days. And you know, my mother was gonna murder that child for the things that happened, but she was just like, no, I'm gonna take this to the school first. After, you know, the teacher had called in and said that my older brother initiated the wax on his own face. Anyways, my mom gets there and she's gonna like burn the entire school down is how much rage she has. And the front desk lady is kind of just like, I can't really help you, don't know what to do. it's known that the both of them like to pick fights with one another, and she's just like, okay, but this is literally assault. What the hell, and tried to take it to the principal, but the lady wouldn't let her. She left that building in such a rage that she broke one of the doors when she slammed it.
Oh.
Like, and it's one of those like solid glass doors too. Like, she just kind of shattered it on the way out, and just left. And I didn't go to
Oh.
that school anymore. After that day, we were all transferred out, and then I was
Damn,
just kind
that's
of
crazy.
I was just kind of the new quiet kid for a little bit. And then this one teacher was a bitch, and then I no longer was the quiet kid.
Oh.
Yeah. That's my story. I was
My
the person that hated everybody.
My school kindergarten through 8th grade, because again, I had a combined elementary and middle, sucked horribly. Like, students, teachers, everything in between just sucked. And for whatever reason, my mom did literally everything except transfer me out for some reason. So she did everything to like making my 1st grade teacher cry, to like talking me out of so many citations I didn't deserve. But she never like went out of her way to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should like put her in public school or something. At least then she could like beat the shit out of children and they won't like acknowledge it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Why would she need to beat the shit out of children?
that's the thing. If you at least this is my case. If you go to any private school where they say that they're like quote unquote better about like catching bullying and whatever else, no, they're not. It just makes children so much better about being sneaky about bullying.
They're not at all.
I remember the one time, because there have been times where I full on like tackled kids on the fucking soccer field because I wasn't having it. But I remember one time, I think this was in like 3rd grade, these girls I hated were like, do you want to play tag with us? And I was bored. So I was like, you know what? Sure. Because, that's a great idea. And essentially, they're like, you're it. So you need to count and then just run after us. And I was like, okay, bet. Like, don't mansplain to me. I know how to play tag. So essentially, I count and I start running after them. And then they all start screaming like bloody murder. And I'm like, yo. And I start running after them, like, what the hell's happening? And then all of a sudden, one of the girls sneaks up from me, like, behind. She, like, grabs my arms and, like, holds it behind my back. And they all start, like, fucking grabbing me. And then the teacher's like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, yo, this bitch went fucking psycho and started chasing us and, like, threatening us. And so we were hugging her to calm her down. And I was like, oh, are you serious? And so it was, like, one of those situations where nobody saw. Like, none of the kids were paying attention. Like, the teacher obviously stopped it as soon as he saw it, but he's like, he didn't see anything, right? So they took it to the principal, and essentially they sat us down, me and one of the other girls. It wasn't like a group of girls against me. It was just like one particular girl who was there who looked terrified, and me who like gets sent to the principal's office all the time. I'm just chilling there. I'm like,
just
what's
there
up?
on a daily basis.
How's your husband, ma'am? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Easy money. They're going to get in trouble because these bitches were fucking with me, And I was like, I'm here like every couple weeks. So you know what? This principal's going to know what's up. She knows when I'm actually fucking around. And when I'm not. So essentially we talk about it. And then I guess the girl was so scared she started crying, which made her seem very, very believable. But essentially, she's like, yeah, she was just chasing us, and we were trying to calm her down and make her feel better, so we were hugging her, and I was like, bro, I was mad because they wouldn't let me go. Are you serious? Because obviously, when someone restrains you, you get fucking aggressive, and you're trying to pull away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bro, they sided with the other chick because her parents were lawyers, and I was like, I remember confronting her about it, like, at our 8th grade graduation. She had this whole ass speech about like every single student, and she said something nice about like every single student. And for her, I specifically remembered she says, I always loved the beautiful pictures you would draw for me. And I was like, bitch, first of all, I haven't drawn since like fucking 3rd grade. Second of all, I would never ever give my drawing to you, bitch. So
She still
I
has
was
the
fucking
drawings from
livid, and I
third
was like,
grade.
"Hey, do you remember that time in third grade where basically you restrained me and you lied about it to the principal and you basically gave me a citation?" And she was like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah, well, I do. Fuck you, bitch." And yeah, it was a really petty thing for me to hold on to. I also
For
remember
5
that
years,
exact same day, though. A girl came up to me because she remembered a lie I had told in like second grade. Because you know what? Every child lies about something stupid and petty that obviously didn't happen.
Obviously.
Well, for me, that lie apparently was that I was born on the Hollywood sign, which I
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I don't know why I thought that was an appropriate lie, but she came up to me at 8th grade graduation. And she's like, "Oh, by the way, you weren't born on the Hollywood sign." I was like, "Really, bitch? You figured it out yourself? How many years did it take you to figure that out?"
I did my research.
Oh yeah, you found my birth certificate, ho?
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love the image of this person like trying to like disprove you, but can't find the evidence in which to prove that it was false. Just
thing
spent
is-
6 years trying to get the evidence.
Yeah, the thing is I was a little liar because I hated everybody and I wanted everybody to be jealous of me because I hated them. But the thing is what made it even funnier is that is the only lie I specifically remember. Like I told a lot of like bullcrap lies. Like, do you guys remember smart boards? I lied to a kid
Yeah.
and said I had one in my room. Like I was like I didn't even fucking like care about what the lie was. Like I was a mini sociopath. But essentially, I don't know why, but I remember that specific lie that I was born on the Hollywood sign, and I was just like dead ass crying inside because the fact that I actually remember that one specific lie, and she's thought about it so often over the years. She felt the need to come up and express to me that she was upset by my lie from like second grade that was obviously not true. I just find that hysterical.
That is pretty great, actually.
Oh man.
Have we just established that the overall theme of this episode is just going to be elementary school part 2?
Yeah.
I should
Okay,
thought so.
fair enough.
Well, part 1 was like, I don't know,
It
not
wasn't
really
that
just
playground
elementary.
specific.
Yeah.
It was kicking it back to the playground. So I
It was
guess
just-
this is
yeah.
PE stories too.
yeah. So I guess this is just overall everything.
Yeah, this is just middle
Everything.
school. The other one was
Yeah.
let's hear how Brandon tries to murder children and see what happens.
All right. Do you have any stories, Andres? Because if you do not interject, you will be the fourth wheel, whatever we're going with.
We'll make you the 5th wheel because Randy will surpass you. Randall will
Ooh.
take your position.
I don't know, Brandon. What's a good story for me to tell?
Don't give him ideas.
You say that like there's a
Oh.
lot of them, and I'm curious.
There's
We
so
can
many-
talk about the we can always go off topic like we always do. If Steven still wanted to talk about the concert story, I mean, it's just more of just.
Yeah, that was what I put in the email.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
By the way, if you want to be a
Mind.
guest on the Third Wheel podcast, send us an email.
That's true.
Andres is
Has
here.
Randall
because he
Roach
sent
ever
us an email.
responded?
No.
Yeah, our
No, he has
intern
not.
has not responded, nor does he know that he's an intern. I've talked to him in real life, and he was very confused.
Yep, yes he was. I explained it to him later that day, though.
This is probably a good time to ask. Am I allowed to curse on this program?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Fuck!
Fuck that.
Yeah. Go ahead. We give
We're
so
totally
shit.
family
Like- I mean, yeah, we really don't care.
It's true.
I think what I put in the email was like, I took Brandon to like see our first concert, which was Fall Out Boy with
Oh yeah,
act Wiz Khalifa.
yeah.
Oh.
Brandon's parents were so strict at the time that they did not want him to watch Wiz Khalifa.
I don't think I
Yeah.
ever told him that because
Wait, is
that,
this like-
that wasn't planned. Like we were just going to a Fallout
I'm
Boy
curious.
con-
Is this
concert.
pre-divorce, Brandon?
Oh yeah, no, my parents like that. We were in like what 6th grade, 7th grade?
Oh, so they were.
Wow, that
already-
would have. I thought that was like 4th or 5th.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like a while ago.
Oh, but regardless, yeah, no, like the worst thing was in like kindergarten. So yeah.
Two, high five.
But
I don't know if that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, says the guy whose parents are still
But-
together.
but yeah,
Uh-huh.
I remember that. Yeah, no, we were just planning on going to a Fall Out Boy concert. I know the Wiz Khalifa thing was like beforehand, but then like what was it like mid concert? Like he like joined in on us all or something. Started.
No, he was like the whole ass opening act. We waited outside
yeah.
the Iranian for like a whole ass hour, just like listening to him and watching him on the little TVs in front of the snack shack.
Yeah, we were sitting there with your dad.
I remember I was so blown away because this man was up there smoking a blunt on stage, throwing water at the crowd,
I
being
like how they
shirtless.
Oh my! I love how they think that sitting out there and watching it on TV is so much different than seeing it in person.
Hearing it because we're like, it's a fucking arena.
Oh
Oh
man!
my god!
Like we did the whole thing though. Like we listened to Fall Out Boy songs on the way there. I think we listened. Like it was like really late at night by the time we were on our way back. It was like
Was it like late or elementary school late?
it was like
It was at like
midnight.
5 p.m. when we finished.
It was like almost midnight or something, or like 11 or something when we got out, right? Because it was an evening concert.
Yeah.
An evening concert.
I just slept over.
As opposed to a morning concert?
Yeah,
So scandalous.
I was gonna say, like, if there's a concert in the morning, it's usually because it's like a weekend-long thing.
Bro, I could not imagine a morning concert. Like you're just getting up, you do not want to hear like loud music in the morning, but then you just show up and like.
Bro, I've been to so many concerts at so many different times. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I have a mom who's in the music scene. She's the most and least like rock and roll person you'll ever meet. She's like rock on with your bad self, but she also like doesn't drink at all. So she's like that healthy blend of whatever.
She's
But
the
yeah,
better
she's a
version.
singer. She's been in like multiple bands, done so many venues, etc. That like I've seen stuff at like 10 in the morning till like fucking 2 in the morning. Like it's ridiculous. Music doesn't stop, man.
No, absolutely not. It's fantastic.
No.
But so, because your parents didn't want you to see Wiz Khalifa, you guys had to stay outside for the opening act?
No, like we got past I think like the ticket whatever security. It was just like the kind of area right outside like the I don't know what it was called. I guess the stage area because there's
It's like that
Quite a
like
large
vendor
venue.
area where like you
Yeah.
can buy like t-shirts and snacks and whatever.
yeah.
But hey, no bathroom line, and I bet y'all got some cool souvenirs without waiting too long. No, I bet you probably didn't
I don't
even.
remember. Did we?
I don't think so.
I think we did.
That's cool. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an amazing story. I don't know why I opened with that. And
Damn, y'all
it
are
was like a
crazy.
vaguely interesting kind of thing that happened.
It was my first and last concert. I don't think I've gone to a concert since then.
You
I've gone to
haven't
a
been to
shit
a
ton of
concert,
concerts.
really? You haven't been to a concert since then, and you spent half of it outside.
Well, not like an official concert like that. No, I mean I've been to like school open mics and stuff, but not like
That's
That's
not
not
a
a
nope.
concert.
That's it.
Nope. That's barely even a talent show.
Yeah, fair enough. God, I have not gone to a concert in so long. If I'd have to guess, I'd say maybe 2018, 2019. So
Yeah.
definitely pre-COVID, because I remember it was at like Thunder Valley Casino, which is in Sacramento, and they just had like a crap ton of 80s bands show up, which I love 80s bands because my mother just she didn't care about what music I wanted to listen to, so she played whatever. So I was a bit of a throwback child.
That's fair.
So it was awesome. Got to see Starship and like other cool people. So that was awesome. I don't know. I love going to concerts, but I hate them at the same time. I love going out and doing stuff, but I'm also an introvert, which I struggle with. So I think I don't have any interesting stories. I don't have like these like crazy experiences or like meeting awesome people. Like again, like my
Whoa.
weird concert experience I already talked about with second grade, first concert, at the fever. I fell asleep.
Yeah.
It's because I wasn't having it. I was not happy. I didn't even know most of the songs. I was literally not told I was going to this concert until like 4 hours prior. I was not mentally prepared. It was not it. It was not the move, not the vibe.
Yeah, and I told my my concert story.
Oh my
where
god, how you died? You
where
wanted to
where I
sponsor poor children?
where I signed up to sponsor a poor child, realized that I was also a poor child, and just died on the spot afterwards when I realized how
Huh?
the world works.
What? Where am I? Is it over?
Oh, you
Yeah,
guys sponsored them?
that was we do sponsor the children though. I still sponsor that child to this day. Honest, actually,
The podcast is not sponsored.
the
No.
podcast
You
does
don't have
not
that Lucas
sponsor the
Death
child.
Mountain Water
I
sponsorship?
personally sponsor
No.
the child.
We're still looking for a dog food company that's willing to feed Randall.
We need some food for Randall. The only other interesting story I have from a concert is that the only other concert that I went to that wasn't in my hometown, that was just an artist who liked to come there all the time, was I went to an AJR concert in San Francisco with one of my friends.
That probably sounds awesome.
It was a really cool experience because it was just it's on a 5-6 hour drive, not too far.
Oh my god, I forgot. You're hella far. That's 2 hours from
Yeah.
home and 40 minutes from my school. I forget.
No, yeah, it's a 6 hour drive for me, which isn't
That's
bad.
ass.
Well, it wasn't bad. We listened to music on the way. I slept a lot. I ate food a lot. I passed the time by pretty well. The only problem was that when we got there, we didn't get there at the time that we wanted to. We got there a little bit later, so the line was already pretty full. We had our tickets or whatever, it was fine. But it was one of those concerts where if you didn't buy a seat in the auditorium, you were on the ground, and it's for free for all down there. If you want to be in the front, you're there 5 days beforehand. It's insane. But we got there, and we were just in the worst position in line purely because of the people around us. Behind us was this single mom with either 5 young boys or 2 young boys who both brought friends or whatever. Meanwhile, anyways, there's 5 young children, young boys behind us. Maybe,
Did you kick him?
I wanted to so bad. They were 11 or 12 and the most obnoxious people you ever met. And then in front of us were these 2 quote unquote older women who didn't seem to know why they were there. Jake and I were very concerned if they were intoxicated in any way, because they didn't seem to know what they were doing but continued to do it. They were just kind of we're here, might as well see what this line goes to. Don't know where it's going, but we'll figure it out. But they were also incredibly loud and obnoxious as well, talking about whatever, life, anything. We were just so annoyed by it. But yeah, the little kids were probably the worst part of it. The only thing that was funny about that interaction is that my friends and I have this thing where we just write down random things that we hear people say, forget the context behind them, and it makes it 5,000 times funnier, because we just have this notepad of a bunch of different random sentences people have said without any context. And we got almost 2 pages worth of quotes from these annoying ass children because they were so fucking annoying. And yeah, they were loud, they were obnoxious, they were running around, they were bumping into people, us few times. Jake's mom turned around and was just hey lady, can you control your kids? Thanks. And then turned immediately around to avoid any other confrontation or comment from her. It was fantastic, because Jake and I were about to beat children in the streets of San Francisco. We were not having it.
You know what? I don't think anybody would question you. San Francisco's a dumpster fire of a city.
And then the concert itself is fine. We tried to fight to the front. We got relatively close, but not close enough to where we were next to the stage or anywhere close to them. We moved forward a little bit, but yeah, other than that, we weren't. It wasn't a bad concert night. We got to stay at a nice hotel too, so it was cool. But yeah, those children, I've never wanted to kill a child. I've never wanted to follow in my mom's footsteps more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You need to
Um,
go to more concerts, though, Brandon.
huh?
You need to go to more concerts.
I mean,
I
What do you
do
mean,
have a
yeah?
much better concert story from recently.
I would love to hear it.
I'll go for it.
Last week I went to Bottle Rock.
Oh, this is like recent. Oh
Oh,
crap.
yeah.
Okay.
Bottle Rock is
Recently.
awesome, though.
Bottle Rock, yeah. No, Metallica was the headliner. It was
Oh,
great.
really?
Nice.
Kikagaku Moro too. They're on like their farewell tour. So like I got to see them for one of their last times.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
No, but I was at Bottle Rock with a person. We'll call him Goopy the Poop Scoop.
Oh!
We really want to get close to the Metallica show. We shove our way through during the Greta Von Fleet set. We get somewhat close to the front, close enough, kind of rush up, when the crowd's rushing up and try to work our way through the mosh pits. He ends up getting much further ahead of me. I get trapped in this mosh pit for quite some time. But I am enjoying myself very much. And I see this older gentleman give this little kid a boost up on the crowd to surf.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Beautiful. It looks so beautiful. And it's just always been one of those bucket list things for me that I have to fucking do this.
Oh my god.
In between the songs, like I go up to this grown ass man and I'm like, yo, can you give me a boost up there later? And he's like, yeah. And then he doesn't do it later. He does it like immediately. While there is no music playing, kind of silent, very awkward, non-appropriate time to do it. And I did not hear this myself, but from Goopy the Poop Scoop, apparently a lady down beneath me called me an asshole, which I likely deserved. And then I was up there for about 30 seconds before being surfed directly to security. The rest of the show entirely separated from Goopy the Poop Scoop on the other side of the stage.
Oh my god.
It was worth it to be king of the world for about 30 seconds.
An awkward 30 seconds though.
Dude. Wow.
Oh my
Every disease known to man. You do not want the NAPL people germs on you.
Oh,
That's fantastic. Oh my god. I
dude.
love how he just assumed that you meant now when you said later. He was just like, huh, opportunity strikes. Ah, see. Let's get it right into this then.
If you got more stories, Andres, go ahead. But I have a talking point.
No, please.
All right, I know we have some stories from middle school and you were in some of the more major roles for school plays, and I did tech crew. I know we got some stories from that.
Yeah. Which play you want to go for?
Damn.
Was it The Little Mermaid where
And
had the hot dog?
Uses real names.
Yeah, I don't know.
what happened to the
fun.
fake names, dog?
Cut it out, Steven.
Those aren't their real names.
I will add
Gotta
the
do some
funniest cartoon
stupid-ass sound
effects.
effect over it.
Yep, I will do the cheesiest cartoon sound effects.
Okay,
for that.
Steven, cut this out. Andreas,
Nope.
what are we calling?
And
Nope, you refer.
Actually, I
Nope.
made a list of funny fake names to use.
Well,
before this.
Brandon, just because
Sensational.
you already started it, you have to refer to them as that because no matter what, I'm gonna bleep them out anyways with the sound effects. So you have to just continue using their names on a different
The next,
story. that you can
the
use a
next
fake
story
name.
you guys tell, you can use Andres' funny names.
I have to use the bleeping now because it's consistent. I have to keep it consistent. You can't just
but
start
there-
referring
but
to a
that
new
doesn't even make
person.
sense because there's multiple people, so that's confusing.
Yo, just no, it'll be
do a
different noises. It'll be different noises.
I was gonna say, do a different pitch of bleep.
Oh my god.
So my friends, and
That's when I was in The Little Mermaid and got pissed on by a 4-year-old.
oh,
Oh.
I
interesting.
hated that.
Continue
Anyway, that's
telling
a
the
different
story.
story that I'll
Use
tell
their-
after
yeah.
their story.
Use their real names. I'll freaking loop it.
Okay.
I used sounds.
Funky names later, and then my pissed on story after.
And then piss. Alright.
Oh man. Oh. Okay. Well. Hold on. So what grade were we in when Little Mermaid was that like?
I want to say 6th grade,
I think so, because I was like,
because 7th was Shrek and then 8th was Willy Wonka.
yeah, you've been doing shows for a while. Like 6th grade was my first time as tech crew, though. That's when like I first like did a show with like you and stuff. But all right, Steven, I'm sorry. When they were also on tech crew.
Why are you apologizing for that?
Because you're gonna have to do a lot of.
No, I know what you were. I know.
I'm supposed to continue on. Use this.
Yeah.
Are you gonna speak?
Yeah, I'm
I
trying
broke
to. Grace, you can help me out.
Go ahead. This is your story.
Well, he left you high and dry. Oh.
I'll interject if I have something to add.
He just left you by yourself.
That starting out tech crew, they screwed a lamp. Okay.
All right, well,
That
you
was
try
fun.
this a
Bro,
third
did you
time.
just have Brandon Stroke counter at the end of our first season?
I
Is
feel like
that
it's
what,
already at a
number
point where
4?
it's too much
No,
to
that's
count.
that's like number 7.
Okay, I can do this way.
Are you sure?
Are you okay?
Do you need a
You
breather?
need CPR.
No. I'm fine. Okay.
Blink twice if you need CPR.
Okay.
He just spams
CPR.
blinking. Oh my god.
Okay. So, yeah, they were the type to screw around a little bit.
That's crazy.
And there's some other specific, I guess, stuff I can get into, but the main thing I wanted to talk about was the what was it like because there's 3 shows, like 3 nights where we did the thing. Was it? I think it was it had to be the first night because
Because there was
Yeah.
a night after that.
yeah, where there's more stuff happened. Yeah, so basically our tech crew director, she was very I mean, she'd been doing it for a while. Like, she was very just on top of
Damn, that's crazy.
and she was very she knew how were screwing around and stuff, and right before the show, the show started, she very made it a point to say don't go to the snack bar, because for some reason, even during rehearsals and stuff, they like to go to the snack bar and eat while they were supposed to be doing stuff like props or whatever.
What, Chads?
Yeah, and the first night we were performing, the performance, they got through the show, and it went all right. It was good, but then
It was good, but it wasn't.
no, it was good. The show itself was good, but then we were getting to the bows at the end, and for as it was getting closer to the tech crew's turn to bow, we just noticed they weren't there. They were not present, and literally, I kid you not, they seconds before we were gonna go on, Matt and Andrew get backstage, and they both have 2 very, very sizable hot dogs in their hands, in each of their hands, and
Oh.
our tech crew director was like, she couldn't say anything because she was backstage. We had to be quiet, but her eyes, I oh my god, and instead of just discarding the hot dogs, they're like, we're gonna bring the hot dogs on stage with us when we do the bows, but we're gonna hide them under our shirts.
What?
So the tech crew just kind of walks out, and they just have their hands stuffed under their shirts, which just bulges in their stomach areas where the hot dogs were.
Oh.
And they do their bows with the hot dogs stuffed in their shirt. And yeah, needless to say, like, I don't even, because, yeah, basically, based on what happened the next day, I don't think they made contact with our tech director, because the next night, we had just kind of like a quick meeting, and again, they weren't there. Matt and Andrew were not at this like meeting right before the second show started, and she's like, okay, so we had a little incident yesterday where not all of us were present right as we were about to go on the bows, and we had she's saying we basically had a problem with, just don't go to the snack bar. As I kid you not, as she was addressing this issue, and walk up, both each had a plate of nachos in their hand from the snack bar, and they're just kind of staring at her. She stares back at them like are you serious right now? And I think she told him just to throw it. Like, I don't even think she let him finish. She just said, throw that shit away. Like, not having it.
That's fantastic.
Oh, man. But, it was just stuff like that. And
But I have something to add to this.
oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, I guess, Brendan, now we're going to play a game of what about my memory is invented?
Okay.
All of it.
I
You're both
remember it
figments
slightly
of each
differently.
other's
I don't know if
imagination.
that's just one of those things where, like, it's been so long that I kind of just...
That's how I remember. I know.
together.
Like,
But, so I'm thinking, I think it might have actually been during Shrek,
was it Shrek?
not Little Mermaid. I'm pretty sure it was, because I remember after the bows. Now, this could be entirely invented in my mind.
No, it could have been Shrek. I don't know. That sounds.
No, but there's more of this. That after the bows, there's like a big final song where everybody, including Tech Crew, comes out on stage and we sing "I'm a Believer" by Smash Mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And come behind me, and they're trying to whisper in my ears, like as we're all singing to the crowd, saying, "We got 2 hot dogs in our shirts." They're just so proud of themselves.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It may have been Shrek. I just knew it was like at the end of the show, and we had to be on stage, and they just weren't there until like the last minute. Oh,
And I don't know if this was on a separate occasion, but I'm pretty sure Matt was outside throwing up on one of the nights because he ate so much at the snack bar.
oh, that's awesome. I just know that they visited the snack bar a lot.
It was not just like the 3 days, it was like a lot. They would just go to the
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, but yeah, yeah.
So, Grace, you got peed on?
Yeah, I did, and it's a really short story. I was a massive theater kid, and so I joined a local theater company where basically my unofficial job was to keep track of the littles, which is what we just called like the little kids, like 4 to like 6-year-olds is what we called the littles. And because this was a community theater troupe, essentially anybody of all ages was welcome. So we had people as young as like 4 all the way up to like 20, right? Like it was a pretty big range of people. And I was about 15, 16 at the time. And essentially, which is weird to say, being 19 now, I feel old, but whatever. But yeah, essentially, it was my unofficial job to keep track of the littles, both during practice, because they can be very distracting. So I make sure they're able to keep track of their stuff, that they're like entertained essentially while they're like not learning their own like choreography or lines, etc. And this kind of extended to also backstage during an actual show. So I was not the star of this show, so I had like a lot of different parts. I was like a maid in the palace, I was one of the Mer sisters, and like a princess in the background of like the ball scene. I was
Interesting.
on stage a decent amount, even though I wasn't, necessarily a main character. But between shows, I would I'd make sure they're good on snacks. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to. I did their makeup before the show. I made sure it was good during intermission, etc. Essentially, I brought my iPad, and I even bought the movie The Little Mermaid so they could watch it like while we were, backstage doing stuff. And everything was great and fine. And I had done multiple productions with all of these littles. I love them deeply. They're amazing. They have their own quirks that are kind of annoying, but that's children. So there was this new girl, and I honestly don't really remember her name, but she was super sweet, but very, very, very shy. Essentially, her mom had talked to us and was essentially like, hey, so my daughter's extremely shy. We've done multiple other things, including gymnastics. And I guess at her gymnastics showcase, she froze up and just didn't do anything. She just kind of stood there. And so
Interesting.
like, I don't know why you would like take your like stage like fright-ridden kid and like put them on a stage if they're that scared of being in the limelight. But we're like, you know what? No judgment. Like, she's not gonna have like the biggest part. All of the littles were like sea creatures, and so they were like starfish and fish, and like so they had lines and stuff, but it wasn't like anything major since they were like 4. But essentially, yeah, so me and the stagehands were also in charge of making sure that they all had to like go to the bathroom. And normally they would tell us because that's just a normal thing they do, but it's very complicated because it's all the way on the other side of the stage, so we have to make sure we have enough time before they're supposed to be on stage. But this little girl, who is specifically my buddy, right? So every little was assigned a big, and I was a big to this little girl whose name I just now remembered. We will call her Charlotte. So Charlotte, like again, very sweet, very shy, essentially didn't say anything to me. And I was just like, hey Charlotte, you ready? Like, let's do this. Like, let's go out there. Let's have a great time. Because I always try to psych her up beforehand. And I think they just kind of wanted to give her to me because I was a very encouraging big for any little I had in previous productions. And it did. It worked out. And she didn't get stage fright. She was awesome. Like, she was going out there. She was having fun. She made friends with all of the littles that were there. But I don't know, for whatever reason, the one day my friends were there too to see this production. It was the song Kiss the Girl. And for whatever reason, the Mer sisters were on stage for that number to dance, and like there was tons of choreography and whatever, which already was kind of a train wreck because nobody really remembered the choreography that well. But essentially, without me knowing or her saying anything, she just pees on stage, like straight up. And I don't notice anything at all because I'm also in like these like, they're called like blocking shoes, but essentially they're kind of like tap shoes, essentially is what they are. So I don't feel anything. It's not like Skechers or tennis shoes where like it absorbs and I know, like I don't know because like my shoes don't absorb anything. I don't see anything. It's not in my frame of view. No one's saying anything, right? But then there comes the moment in the choreography where everybody walks in a big ass circle around the stage, right?
Uh-oh.
So like everybody's like walking around this big ass puddle. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And so I'm like disgusted. I'm like, wait
As
a
one
minute.
would be.
Because I have like this realization that's like, oh shit. So I walk her off the stage in like the middle of the number and there's like nothing I can do. And so essentially I'm like, oh shit. So everybody like gets off stage as soon as the number is done. I tell my director, who's like, oh my fucking god, like on stage. And I was like, yeah, she did. Holy crap. So essentially she's like, I can't deal with this right now. I have to deal with the band. Because we had a live band, which was also a massive train wreck. It was the worst. Like, we should have just done the vacuum track. It was horrible. But essentially, I go to a stagehand, and I'm like, my buddy peed on the stage, and I have to be back on stage in a maid outfit in like literally like 5 minutes, and I have to do a quick change because I'm in a completely different outfit, right? Like, I have to completely take everything off, and be in something different, which is really, really difficult. But whatever, that's not what the story's about. So essentially, a stagehand, which is a parent in all black, is like on this stage, like cleaning it up with paper towels, like mid-scene. And it's just the most awkward thing ever. And I remember what made me feel so bad is I borrowed those shoes from one of my cast members that day because I misplaced my shoes, and she said I could borrow the extra pair she had that were in my size, and I just felt so bad. And I was like, hey, here's your shoes back. But I remember my friends were dead ass laughing so loudly and so obnoxiously during the entire thing. They were looking directly at me. And not only was that really annoying, they were also making fun of me and copying my choreography throughout the entire thing. So I thought them laughing and pointing had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that this little girl just wet herself.
Yeah.
But I remember after I think my dad was also there, weirdly enough. My dad was also there that day. And so I walk out, and I'm still head to toe in, this big glamorous mermaid makeup, right? It's big pink eyes with, glitter that's, stuck onto my face. And I've got, poofy hair because I've been changing in and out of a wig, right? So I'm, there in my fucking, after show clothes, which are just sweats, whatever, and I look like a fucking wreck. I look like I've been through it, and my dad's like, hey, I really enjoyed today's show. And I was like, really now, did ya? And he's like, yeah, my favorite number was Piss the Girl. And I was mortified. I was like, Dad, I need you to not.
Damn.
I cannot listen to that song without thinking about how I got pissed off during that number. Oh my god.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was
Holy
interesting.
Shit. Oh my god. I will say that I'm also one of the theater gurus. I did theater growing up. My first actual instance of theater was he fucking turns on his camera.
My bad. Accident.
I was super confused.
I was as well. Anyways, yeah, my first actual instance of theater was at public theater, not kind of like you, Grace, not like a school thing. It was just a public community kind of theater thing because my mom was just like, they're putting on Pinocchio. I'm gonna sign you both up, and my brother and I think we would be 9 and 11. We would be around those ages, and we were just like, okay. Just all right. I think she just really just wanted to get us out of the house and give us something to do. And so we go, and that's my first instant of theater, and I will never do community theater again because it's kind of just awful and ass, and you don't want to be there at all. There's no one you're just kind of there to do things. Plus, if you're not contributing to the main plot and you're just kind of a side character, you're bored out of your goddamn mind. But that instance of that being a really shitty experience made me be like, well, I want to get a good experience, so I'm going to continue doing theater, but I did it at school. And a couple of my friends joined me through middle school. We would be in plays and whatnot. I had embarrassing moments here and there, but the biggest embarrassing moment I ever had was in 8th grade. I was the only 8th grade boy that did theater. And usually how, middle school stuff works is just, the older kids kind of have the priority as far as casting. They get the bigger roles purely because it's their last year, or they're older than other people, and those people have more years to get a chance at those bigger roles. And so for our Christmas program, we did a Charlie Brown Christmas. And since I was the only 8th grade guy, I was automatically Charlie Brown if I did the play. And I remember my director pulling me aside and just before casting, and he was just like, "So look, we're gonna have you read a bunch of these other rules just to keep the hopes up for everyone else, but you're pretty much just given priority to be Charlie Brown unless you don't want to." And I was just like, yeah, sure, I don't care, whatever. It's just like I wanna do theater. I don't really care what position you put me in. And it was the day of dress rehearsal, the day before we actually do the show. And we only did it once because it was a school choir Christmas thing. It was like you're there that night, otherwise you miss it. So the dress rehearsal before, I walk out, there's the Charlie Brown Christmas music playing, and everyone dances and whatnot, and then everyone leaves, and then I'm supposed to have my first line. I don't remember what happened because I was looking over lines and everything off stage. I walk into everyone dancing and be the mopey Charlie Brown of like, why is everyone so happy? And some sort of BS line according to that. But I walk out on stage, look at everyone else, and completely forget everything that I'm supposed to say. So I just walk out there and I kind of stand there in silence looking around trying to get help from my cast. And everyone's just dancing because they were told to continue dancing until I start talking. So dress rehearsal, I walk out there and I'm just kind of standing there with the blankest expression on my face trying to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to say. And after like a good 5 minutes, my director goes, well, hey, Linus, go help him out because he has the following line. And then he looks at everyone and completely forgets what the fuck he's supposed to say because he learned like the cue to me and he's supposed to like make fun of the thing that I said. But since I didn't say it, he completely forgot what he was supposed to say. So for another 5 minutes, we just sat there and stared at each other while everyone is still dancing on stage. Our tech guy who was one of the teachers at the school at the time, because he didn't trust any of the students to mess with all of the audio stuff, just put the Peanuts music on loop because it's only like 3 minutes long and we were there for like a good 10 minutes. So we just put it on loop and you just heard the beginning of it at least 3 times. And we were just like, what if we just walk off stage? Like, we said it really quietly. We was like, what if we just left stage and just started and like go look at our lights and come back? And I remember him looking at me and just being like, what if we don't try to start over and just continue with this? He didn't want to like go off stage, look at what I'm supposed to say, what he's supposed to say, come back on and start the scene. He wanted to just exit stage and continue the play as if we had already said our lines and just continue from there. And I was just like, I don't think people are gonna be aware of what the fuck we're doing. But also, everyone's still dancing and they're supposed to leave before we start talking. So we kind of are just having this like little like talking dispute whispering while currently mic'd up as well on stage. And then I'm just like, and then walk off stage, come back on stage, and then he, after I leave, remembers his line and says it. As I'm leaving, he remembers what he's supposed to freaking say, and then says his line. I get off stage, and everyone who's like the main cast, not just dancing people, are like, bro, what the fuck? It's your first line. Like, I understand missing one later, but that's the first thing you fucking say. How do you fucking forget that? And I was like, I don't know, man. And completely forgot I'm supposed to re-enter stage afterwards.
It's actually really funny, and I have a very similar situation. I remember the first time I was ever cast as a lead was for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And I remember I kind of wanted to be in this production, but not really. But my director really, really, really wanted me to be in it because she wanted me to be the lead. And I was like, okay. And this was a summer production, so this meant she got her husband to pick me up from summer school every single day to drop me off to practice late, which I thought was pretty baller. But anyway, I remember I went to dress rehearsal not knowing a single line. At all. Because I remember at dress rehearsal, they made us all go through it, and I was like, can I have the script? And they were like, no.
Oh,
And they're like, just guess or just say whatever you think is close. And I guess, like, it was obviously a train wreck. But I remember I showed up, and I put on the fucking performance of my life. The second show out of 2 was amazing. The first show, however, was a tragedy. It was really funny, and we pulled it off really well. But you see, the thing that happened was our mistake was originally we gave a kid a quick change, which we immediately cut out, but he didn't fully process that wasn't going to happen anymore. So, this kid, who's not really important, so I'm not even going to give him a name. Essentially, he's
no name.
okay. Well, he's like literally he's like 2 lines in this story. So essentially, he's supposed to be a munchkin, and then he was supposed to go off stage and change into a guard, right? Like one of those one of those guard thingies. And essentially, they're like, no, it's too fast. He's too little. He would take too long. We're just not going to do that. He's just going to wear his outfit the entire time and pretend he's a munchkin while this is happening. Fair enough. Even though he was wearing the costume he was supposed to be wearing, he walked off stage anyway. And we're like, because he was supposed to deliver a line. And we're like, hello? And so we were basically like, talking to the audience for like 5 minutes, and he wasn't back out there because I don't think anybody fully processed he walked off stage, so no one was there to like make him go back on. So I was like, let's go look for him, and we all ran on stage. And so then we have to go back on stage, and we have no idea where we're at. We're super confused. And so essentially, oh my god, so Scarecrow is not on stage. And so Tin Man's like, I'm gonna go look for Scarecrow. And I shit you not, as soon as Scarecrow rocks, like, as soon as Tin Can goes off stage, Scarecrow runs on from the opposite. And we're like, oh no. We're like, where have you been? Like, Tin Can just went looking for you. And then Tin Can runs on, and I was like, I was looking for you. And like everyone in the audience thinks this is hysterical because they think it's planned. And we're like, because we have no idea where we are in the script or what we're supposed to do. But someone, and we're kind of like ad-libbing and improvising at this point to try and get to like the next scene. But somebody says like a trigger line that makes me remember one of my lines. So I say it, which starts off this whole song, King of the Forest for Cowardly Lion. It came way too early. So actually, my director's like freaking out trying to flip through the fucking like playlists and the songs to figure out like if we're in transition music or King of the Forest. So like we're admiring Cowardly Lion, and Cowardly Lion's like doing a little like cape spins, like check me out, like look at me. And then we finally do the entire fucking song, and then fucking the actual kid comes out finally. And then we basically have to repeat the fucking scene that we were supposed to do. And at this point, people are like, oh, wait, they probably fucked up somewhere. Because basically, I'm trying to say the exact same thing without repeating myself, right? But at this point, people kind of already realize we fucked up because we're repeating the scene. And then it gets back on track. But, oh my god, I swear, it was the fucking wildest thing because nobody was where they were supposed to be. We had no idea what we were supposed to say or how to get back on track, and we did a song way too early.
No,
it was just a mess everywhere. I remember I texted you before that show, Steven, and I was like, bruh, look at me.
I think I do remember that, actually. Yeah, I do remember
I sent you a picture. I sent a picture, and I was like, oh, Lamal, look it. I don't know how to braid my hair, but, like, my cheeks are, like, extremely red.
Yeah, and that forever marked the day that you were named in my phone Starburst Girl Who Follows the Yellow Brick Road, because I think you tried to say, like, Starborn or something like that, and it autocorrected, and I was like, what the fuck does Starburst have to do with Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, And then I was like, Lamau, I look like a pink I look like a pink starburst because I used an ungodly amount of blush. Because not only was I Dorothy, I was on stage with those bright ass lights that just washed me out.
I forget that I got to see that. I completely forgot that.
Oh my god. But I had to show up early because I had no idea how to French braid my hair, so I had to show up early so one of my cast members would do it. I just remember how much drama was going on backstage because there were like new kids we had never seen before that were like super arrogant and cocky and were like touching other people's props or like claiming other people's costumes were theirs. It was just a train wreck.
Yeah.
And normally me, who's backstage to like figure that out, couldn't because I was on stage the entire time for obvious reasons. But bro, I just remember after the first show, because we had like an hour break between the only 2 shows that we had for that. Mm-hmm. I remember I was talking to my family because they went to the first show. And they were like, "You were amazing, like, you did awesome, even though that whole fucking debacle went down." This little girl walks up to me and she's like, I need you to redo my makeup now. And I was like, bro, what a bitch. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah,
I'm over it. I'm done. But yeah, I have a lot of weird theater stories where absolutely nothing went to plan.
Oh, I'm sure we could get another episode full of that.
Yeah, no, I could do a whole ass episode based on theater stories alone. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, gross things happen in theater.
Well, I do have to say I have a great respect for you 3 and just pretty much anyone else in theater production performing, because like that's the only reason like why I enjoyed tech crew, because I didn't have to memorize lines.
Yeah.
I remember one time it shattered my little actor ego because I think in the summer between like I want to say 6th and 7th grade, I went to do a play at Sutter Street. Seussical the Musical Junior. Coming off a string of big parts like Jafar and Aladdin, and then I want to say King Trident. Then I went to go do Seussical the Musical Junior. And I got the part of a Who that sings one fucking line. Like, all I had to do was say, like, one little sentence. But, like, every time at rehearsal, they kept telling me to sing louder, and I would. And they were telling me that it's not loud enough, and then they just cut me out entirely.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
So I was still on stage, and I, like, kind of said my line, but, like, they edited, like, the whole thing so that my one line was now a line that the entire stage said with me.
Bruh. Oh, that's rough. Community theater sucks.
Oh,
I do not like community theater. We'll never do it again. No, thank you. Alright, well, anyways, I think we should bring this one to a close. Kind of all over the place. We talked about Journey to the Center of the Earth, we talked about middle school, we talked about concerts, and then we landed on theater. Because that makes sense.
Very much.
Absolutely. What do you mean? You don't get it?
Because that's how thought process. Anyways,
obviously.
Who wants to throw the first stone? Who wants to?
All right. I think we should let our guests do the honor.
Oh, I would love to have honors do the honor.
Who do you think is this week's fourth wheel and why? Or you can just say not it and defer to somebody else.
Not it.
Not it.
Okay.
No, hold on. I want to break this down for you. Like, so I want to say, if I'm going to rank it, I want to say, I think me and Brandon are probably at the bottom 2 for the amount of talking had.
Yeah,
I think.
you guys sucked.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to say I said more words than Brandon, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well,
you did.
sometimes...
Therefore, I'll go first. Are you ready? I'm voting Brandon because it felt like all of Brandon's contributions were just like a tag on to what Andreas said. Like, yeah, you guys went to a concert together, but then Andreas gave us like this glorious story about how uncomfortably he lived out his like lifelong dream. That we got called an asshole doing it.
I will say
that was hilarious. Yeah. And Brandon was like, "Damn, I watched people like put out their best lives and get some hot dogs and nachos."
I will
Like, that's
say,
unlucky.
yeah, I will say, Andres, the level of contribution does not matter as far as words, but the content of your story. Because there was an episode where Grace literally just told a story about a grumpy cat, and we were just like, so it can't possibly be Grace. And that was her only story, was just a cat who like hated Door Dashers. That was her
No, he
only
did not
story.
hate Door Dashers. He was just fucking pissed off because no one would open the door for him.
Yeah,
when
and that was
DoorDashers
like,
came.
yeah, that was like her only story, and Brandon and I were like, so it's between you and me, I see. so
I know.
so
did she
amount of
vote
words.
herself in that episode
Yes.
too?
Yes.
That's the only reason it ended in a tie.
Yep.
I did. You know, guys were having a Mexican standoff, and I shot myself in the face.
Brandon and I were worried about who was gonna be the one to live. Meanwhile, Grace already took herself out of the equation. Anyways, so
Anyway, for that reason, I'm gonna say Brandon, because Brandon's stories were kind of bland, and although Andreas didn't like talk as much as you and me did, Steven, he had quality. And you know what? That was an amazing story. I enjoyed it.
I love that story.
I swear, all the other guests are gonna be so fucking boring in comparison.
I don't know. Randall's got some opportunity if he ever checks his email.
Yeah, I want to bring up one more thing before we go.
Oh.
I asked Brendan earlier if this was going to be a video call because I had several visual gags planned.
Oh,
See, this man came prepared. Meanwhile,
Right
we were
now,
like, "What are we
I'm not
doing
gonna
today?"
turn my camera on, but I'm wearing 5 separate shirts.
What the fuck?
I'm not
Wow.
taking
I
any of them
love
off.
that for you. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of depends because we've done it like once,
We
and
did
I
it one
enjoyed.
time.
I enjoyed seeing each other because we were able to like react better to one another. Personally, I think we should start like doing that in the future. So if you want to come back as a guest again, we are totally willing to do video call.
You have to wait in the
I
long
had
line
my
of one
Liquid
person.
Death mountain water. So many sponsorships to plug.
You can't do that because we're not sponsored by them. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a problem.
Even though we've already been like, so this company is sponsoring us in this episode.
Oh
We've
yeah,
done that
no,
like
there's
8
been
times.
so many jokes about like companies that like have sponsored us but really haven't. I don't even think we meet the requirements yet to be
Nope.
sponsored.
I feel like we could meet the requirements for only BetterHelp because all of us need therapy.
Yeah,
all of us
well,
need that
that's-
extra help.
BetterHelp, you're literally willing to sponsor anybody, so why not sponsor us too?
Please, I need a discount.
Please, Steven needs the $2 you're willing to give us.
Can go towards my therapy. Anyways,
It can go towards Steven's gas money to DoorDash in Sacramento so he can see my grumpy cat.
I would love to. I would make that drive. Anyways,
Man.
so
Anyway,
one-
that's
one-
one vote for Brandon.
Yeah, one at
Who else
Brandon.
is who's gonna vote next?
I yield the floor to the two of you, whichever one of you wants to go first.
I'm gonna fire back at Grace. I don't know.
For what
What
reason?
the fuck?
It's okay. I'm not gonna do that.
No,
I'm gonna-
do it. Do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it. Tell me
No
why.
balls.
Yeah, tell me why. Go ahead.
I was joking, but I mean, I'll go through with it if that's what the
No,
Oh,
go
you
go
peer
with what
pressured into a
you
decision?
want. Go with your own decision. Vote yourself.
Brandon easily gives into peer pressure is what we've learned here today.
no,
Yeah.
you know what? No, no, no.
Well, can you just make your decision?
I
then?
feel Steven. I'm voting Steven.
Alrighty. What's your reasoning?
Because I mean, I guess just yeah. I mean, just as far as story wise, I mean, I remember like your theater story stuff, but I just feel like Andres and Grace's stories just kind of were more just out there for me. I don't know, like they
Sure.
just they were
You
more.
like that I got pissed on?
They were more memorable.
You have
for
a
me.
piss kink, Brandon?
No, what the hell, no. Oh,
Interesting.
they were very
Brandon likes the fact that I got pissed on.
they were very memorable to me, and Yeah, I can't vote them. They were just very memorable, so I'm gonna have to go.
You're
for
forgettable,
yourself.
Steven. You're
Yeah,
replaceable.
I know. That's why I want therapy. All right. Well, fair enough. Andres, what about you? What's your verdict?
Ooh, it's a tough one.
It's true.
I almost feel like Steven's immune because how can the person who edits and produced this be the least valuable?
I have all the power to make Brandon the third wheel every episode.
You're gonna twist our words in our closing statements just to make.
Don't worry about it. We
No,
bully Steven and we put him in his place.
No, all I have to do is just, after we're just like, oh, I think it's Steven, at the end, I just edit in this clip where I'm just like, so Brandon was the third wheel of this episode. even just leave all the pre-context that we talked about where I'm the third wheel. Nah, that didn't happen. Brandon's the third wheel. Nah, I don't get immunity for editing these videos. Nah.
Well, I don't know. I think as a pity vote to Brandon, I'm gonna vote for Steven. Just because he's been the third
no
wheel
pity
so
votes
many
here.
times.
No pity votes.
Favoritism.
Okay, you know what? We do have a lot of favorites.
Yeah, we can't argue against that. Cannot argue against that. Alright. Do you have a reasoning for other than favoritism?
No,
That's my
but
only reason I like this dude.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair enough. We do show a lot of favoritism and bias here. So.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Alright, well. Interesting.
Steven, go ahead.
predicament. Interesting predicament here. Grace got pissed on. That's how that works. She's fine. She's vibing. Andres, you asked a grown man to hoist you on his shoulders and throw you over a crowd, and he was just like, bet, and he threw you to security. It's probably the best concert story I've ever heard in my life. Brandon.
Hey, buddy.
So as far as context in the story, I feel like the place that you fit in where you weren't a third wheel is the fact that you and Andres both wanted to be the same guy and journey to the center of the earth. Other than that, kind of like what Grace said, you watched people get hot dogs on multiple occasions. And then you watched Wiz Khalifa at a concert outside. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the tenacity of the two guys, the two tech guys, Andrew and Matt. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I love the zero amount of fucks they gave by showing up every day with just another fucking hot dog. I think that's fantastic, but I feel like just as far as fitting into the story and the conversation, it was kind of a fourth wheel, if you catch my drift.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. I think that since Andres is the guest, he will decide who will pick next week's topic.
We're just gonna go based off what our previous episode was.
Fine.
We could
that
just I mean, unless he could just say Brandon could pick the topic anyway.
No, fine. Whatever.
But yeah, I mean, like, we could do that. I feel like we could set that in stone now. How is this working? Do we
I don't
want?
know.
Andres, you make the decision. Do you want to choose who picks next week's topic, or how?
I choose next week's topic.
Okay.
You could do that
If you
as
wanna
well.
do that, go ahead.
Go for
You
it.
could do that as well.
Oh shit. Okay.
Didn't have one in mind. This is the
What
one
do I
thing he
want you
didn't
guys to
prepare
talk about? I
for.
don't know. Is there anything like you wanted to do for a while?
Also, yes, there is something I've wanted to do for a while. We want to do like a fucking people's court type thing. We want to handle disputes. If you know anybody who's fucking beefing, send them our way. We want to hear both sides and then comment on their lives.
You know I'm gonna open up with "Welcome to the Fifth Wheel Podcast."
Like, you just gotta every time you gotta add like one more person. So like next time it's 2 guests, and then the next time it's 3 guests.
We just need to
Exactly.
find the biggest family disputes after that, because I also would love to just be here and be a witness and watch 2 people and listen to 2
I
people
would,
just beef.
yeah, I would love to be an unbiased party that just like completely thrashes one party completely to the point where they'll never mentally recover.
That
Don't know
that's
anyone off the top
Randall,
of
we're
my
looking at
head.
you.
if Randall had beef with someone, oh boy, that would be quite the thing. They would just lose by the sheer amount of hate Randall
I'm a
would have for
little
that person.
biased because Randall's our intern, but
Let's see. Well, why don't you do a sketchy episode? Where what sketchy and illegal activities have you participated in?
Define
Interesting.
sketchy, because there's some things are sketchy by defined as a different person.
it's like you want Brandon to be the third wheel.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
sketchy illegal.
There's always 2. I mean, you don't have to decide right now. You can always just,
No.
Nope,
Just
nope,
if I
it,
think
nope.
of something
It
better,
has
I'll
to
let you
happen
know.
right now.
Yes.
Shit, okay.
No.
Oh.
Just text us whenever if you
Okay.
can't think of it right now.
Fantastic.
Alrighty, well, it's a tie, I guess, which is second ever,
I
but
guess.
somehow less weird because there's an even amount of people
It makes more sense. It also makes more sense that
than what happened the first time.
Well,
Yeah.
that the 2. Well, yeah, that didn't make sense at all. You voted for yourself to make the tie. That made 0 sense at all.
Brandon voted for himself, like
Yes, but
twice.
but that was to make himself like the third wheel unanimously. In this instance, Brandon and I pointed fingers at each other, and you
Don't
just
worry
took
about
an
it.
L.
Don't
I
worry
always
about it.
thought that a tie would be all of us pointed a finger at each
I
other.
said, don't worry about it.
I'm worried. Very concerned. But yeah, no, it also does make sense that the lifelong friends, joined forces to keep Brandon from being the third wheel 3 times in a row. I
And
see
I
a
appreciate you
coup
taking-
happening here. The coup d'etat. Anyways, which one of you wants to do the outro?
Let's let Andreas do it because he doesn't know how to.
That's fantastic.
I bet he's never made it far enough in an episode to know what our outro is.
You know what? That's true.
You know what? That's fair
I
enough.
think the farthest I've gotten is like 49 minutes.
Hey,
But-
I love
it's almost like there's another half hour you forgot to listen to.
Goodbye, listeners of the Third Wheel podcast.
Good
I
job.
like it.
Yeah, I was gonna note, but you know what? Not bad for your first time. All right, Steven, do you want to take it from here?
That was perfect. But no,
I don't know if I need to take it anywhere. That was
Yeah, I know.
fantastic.
That's perfect.
All right, make sure to subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening to. Comment mean things on our YouTube comments because we'll probably laugh at them. I'm not sure if Steven's up for another Brandon weird edit, but you know what? I'm all in favor for it. I always am. So make sure to check out our YouTube channel if you want to see that, or if you've actually stuck around long enough to, know it's there in the first place.
Absolutely.
We enjoyed having Andreas here as a guest today. We enjoyed it. And remember, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, send us an email. Our inbox is very empty. We will see it very
Other than my several different drafts going out to Randall, telling him to open his fucking email.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a lot of sent
Alright.
emails, not a lot of received.
All right, and remember, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being the fourth wheel, except for when you remember that makes absolutely no sense.